Blue skies overhead, little humidity, a great day for football. And speaking of a great day, how about Gerald McCoy signed a big contract just yesterday, the leader of this team. For more on this, let's check in with Laura Oakman.
Thanks, Justin. Signing a deal that made him the highest paid defensive tackle in the league. Gerald McCoy proved his worth off the field this week. He called his defense soft. That got all the headlines. But he went deeper than that. Gerald told his defense, in 5 years, we have gone through 3 head coaches, 3 defensive coordinators, and 7 defensive line coaches. Guys, it's not the coaches. It's us. We need to execute. We need to take responsibility. Things have got to change, and that starts today. Justin?
And Lovie Smith, he said that attitude reminded him of Brian Urlacher in Chicago. That's pretty high praise for a young guy in Gerald McCoy. Trendon Holiday is back, just signed with the Bucs from the Giants. Minnesota won the toss, deferred, so kicking off will be Blair Walsh. Trendon Holiday, gotta watch out. That guy is electric. Holiday will take it out about 6 yards deep. And Holiday gets wrapped up at the 12-yard line by Robert Blanton. Mike Glennon, the quarterback for these Bucs. Amazingly, he has 26 touchdown passes. That's not amazing. What's amazing is he's 9th in team history and only about 16 starts.
You know, that's the crazy thing, is that is the one position that on this team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that has not been consistent, that quarterback position.
Here we go. Run forward.
On first down, handoff to Doug Martin up the middle. And Martin brings it up to the 20, picks up 7. Sharif Floyd with the tackle. How about a key matchup to watch out for here today?
You know, one of the key matchups that you have to look for is Everson Griffin, the defensive end for the Minnesota Vikings, versus Anthony Collins, the left tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Griffin, 3 sacks last week, leads the NFC with 7. This matchup right here, Collins has got to do a great job in order to get this offense rolling.
Handoff again to Martin. Nice moves in the backfield, very close to that first down marker. No sign yet, there it is, first down for Tampa Bay. Doug Martin, the guy who reported today, the Bucs are receiving some interest about him. Trade speculation. This is a guy who got off to a great start in his career.
Been plagued a little bit by injuries, but we'll see. They say this team is fully healthy. Let's see how Doug Martin responds today.
First and 10, 2 tight ends in here.
Run forward.
Play action. Glennon's first pass, and that is complete to the rookie Mike Evans. And Evans has the first down, 11 yards.
You know, we just talked about that matchup. You're going to see a TE on this left side that frees up Griffin on that move. Right there, they've already started to say, hey, we want to get this pressure, and they're already working stunts against this left side of the line.
Mike Evans, the rookie, drafted 7th overall out of Texas A&M. First and 10 here for Tampa Bay. The toss to Martin. One cut, gets it back to the line of scrimmage, tackled by Chad Greenway. Greenway, one of the keys to this Minnesota defense. Returned last week, missed 3 games with a hand and rib injury. But this is a guy who has led the team in tackling from 2008 to 2013. Yeah, he's important.
And that's a good name to be rewarded with there. Scott Studwell, who's in their Hall of Fame and their Ring of Honor. I don't think it's going to be long when he retires. He'll be right there with him.
Second down and 10 here for Tampa Bay. Opening drive of the game.
Hurry.
Handoff once again to Doug Martin. It's tackled by Greenway after a pickup of 3, setting up 3rd down and 7.
I like this attack so far right now by Tampa. They're making sure that they're trying to establish the run, getting these offensive linemen comfortable so that when they are in these passing situations, they're going to do whatever they can to stay out of the 3rd and longs.
Here on 3rd and 7, Bobby Rainey has checked in the backfield. Mike Glennon, the shotgun. Dumps it off to Rainey. Has some blockers. Rainey gets tripped up. Where do they mark him down? it looks like he's going to be just shy of that first down marker.
Anthony Collins does a very nice job of getting out there, opening in this screen. You're going to see the double A gap blitzers, but they're going to drop out. So what this Tampa Bay offense does is take advantage of it. See Anthony Collins get out there on the screen. You see Logan Mankins turn it upfield, and they were that close to that first down.
The referee, Craig Wolstad, he wants to measure this one. Sharif Floyd able to trip up Bobby Rainey. The knee is down. You can see that yellow line. It's not exact, but it's pretty close.
And the ball hits before it crosses, too.
Oh, so close. Inches.
Football is a game of inches.
You know, I hear that a lot. What sport is not?
Yeah, I know. It's a cliche, but look at it like that. You keep your feet, you're able to extend that a little bit longer. That inch, you extend your drive, and hopefully you think that that's the momentum you need on this offensive side of the ball, because that's the one thing that the Tampa Bay offense said. They need to start fast.
Well, here on 4th down, 1-5 on the season. That's the record for the Bucs. Lovie Smith is going for it. Empty backfield as Martin goes out wide. And the official calls timeout. And now they'll reset. 4th and inches here for Tampa Bay. Glennon on the quarterback keeper trying to get that push. It looks like he has it. Didn't need much. He didn't get much, but he got enough for the first down.
See him just continue to push. You see Evan Dietrich Smith in the middle of that pocket get leverage. And you see that surge by that offensive line. They were just able to get that enough where he could extend that ball and get that first down.
The rookie Anthony Barr trying to pull him backwards. But it's a first down for Tampa Bay.
Finish boys, Mike. Hey, check Jack. Finish boys, Mike. Hurry.
Handoff. No gain for Doug Martin. Sharif Floyd with a tackle. Sharif Floyd last week, 6 tackles and a sack. Doug Martin, we talked about his success early with these Bucs. It hasn't been the same story, especially this season. His season high in yards, 45 twice. That's it.
1 more. Overtime.
Play action. Glennon rolling out to the right. On the run, looking deep. And this one is picked off. Intercepted by Captain Munnerlyn. The first turnover of the game, first interception of the season for Munnerlyn. Vikings ball when we come back.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Vikings with the ball. Teddy Bridgewater, the local boy from Miami, playing his first game as an NFL quarterback in the state of Florida. And on first down, they toss to Jarrett McKinnon. And McKinnon with a good run on first down. Picks up the first down, a 14-yard run. But let's talk about Teddy Bridgewater, the rookie drafted number 32nd overall. His last 2 games, look at this, 5 interceptions, but sacked 13 times.
Yeah, that's the issue that you cannot have with a young quarterback. You have to keep him upright. You got to let him get some comfort in that pocket and make sure he plants his feet so he throws effective, accurate football.
His first pass over the middle is complete to Cordero Patterson. And Patterson, with a run after the catch, has 15, another first down. You talk about how important it is to keep him upright in this game. How do they do it?
You know, the thing that you can do as a young quarterback is they're going to move the launch point. They're going to run some 3-step drops to make sure he gets rid of the ball fast. And the other thing that you can do is don't go for the home run all the time. Utilize your checkdowns. A 4 or 5 yard gain, that's what you need.
Back-to-back first downs for Minnesota. Handoff to McKinnon again. And McKinnon picks up a yard. Time for a game break. Let's go back to LA and check in for the first time with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Rams trying to follow up last week's upset over Seattle with another win, and right now they're doing it in Kansas City. Lance Kendrick's 1-yard touchdown catch from Austin Davis. They're up 7-0, Justin and David.
All right, thanks, Kurt. By the way, Kurt had a really early wake-up call today as they had the pregame show at, what was it, 6 a.m. Pacific time because the game in London?
Yeah, but I know a lot of NFL fans were excited to wake up to have a coffee and watch some football, that's for sure.
Empty backfield. McKinnon splits out wide, bottom of the screen. Bridgewater, pressure coming. Throws over the middle to his tight end, Chase Ford, who gets upended. Picks up 7 on the play. Leonard Johnson with the tackle. 3rd and 2 coming up here for Minnesota. The Vikings have struggled on 3rd down. Tampa's defense has struggled on 3rd down.
So you call that parody is what you call that.
3rd and 2. Bridgewater pressured, escapes the pressure, trying to run for the first down. And Bridgewater, let's see where they mark him out. He has got the first down. Levante David forcing him out of bounds.
Now, you're going to see walking up Levante David up there right in front of Sullivan, the center. He's going to drop out. They're just going to run 4. But look at that inside pressure by McDonald and McCoy. Their ability to press the pocket and force Teddy Bridgewater outside, that's what they need to do. But next time, they got to make sure Johnson, at that left end, keeps that contained and doesn't get out of his rush lane.
Levante David and Teddy Bridgewater went to the same high school in Miami Northwestern. The first down to McKinnon. And McKinnon back to the line of scrimmage. Teddy Bridgewater out of Louisville. Look at how young he is. 2nd youngest quarterback to start in team history. The guy he joins, it's pretty good company for Fran Tarkenton.
It's unbelievable company. And the one thing that I will say this, as a player who started in the NFL at 21 years old myself, being rookie is no excuse for mental errors. Yeah, you're going to have some technique errors, but the mental things you can't have.
2nd down and 10. McKinnon breaks a tackle. And McKinnon gets spun forward up to the 37-yard line, gets 8. Deshaun Goldson with the tackle. And comparing the two, the legend and Tarkenton and Bridgewater, I don't think many people would have expected that from Tarkenton in his first 3 games, those numbers. No touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Because people think of the history, but
right.
It's what have you done for me lately? And when you're a young quarterback, a first-rounder, you're under the microscope.
3rd and 2 here for Minnesota in Tampa territory. Bridgewater dumps it off to McKinnon, who dives, and he's going to come up short. Levante David with the tackle. 4th and 2 coming up. They're at the 37-yard line right here. About a 52-yard field goal attempt if they want to try for it. Blair Walsh. It's going to be a 56-yard field goal attempt.
I will say this, with big, tall defensive ends and linemen, look at Dotson, the former basketball player in there. When you kick this long one, it comes out low.
He got it up high, but it's no good. A turnover on the opening drive by Tampa, and missed field goal by Minnesota. No score.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
First quarter here in Tampa, no score. Vikings and Bucks. Captain Munnerlyn had the interception against Mike Glennon on the first drive of the game for the Bucks. The Vikings could not take advantage. And here's Glennon on first down. Swings it out to Doug Martin, who breaks free of 1 tackle. And a good second after will pick up 2 yards. Let's go back to that interception thrown by Glennon.
Well, this is the captain. He does a great job. He knows he has a size mismatch. He makes sure he uses the boundary to his advantage. Presses Mike Evans against that sidelines. And look, you see Mike Evans fighting back for that football, knowing that it's going to be an interception. Nice play by Captain Munderland, and those are the turnovers that they need to create on that side of the ball.
Just the 4th interception of the season thrown by Mike Glennon. Handoff once again to Martin. And Doug Martin will pick up 5 yards, setting up 3rd down. Third and 3 here for Tampa Bay. Last week against Buffalo in a heartbreaking loss for the Vikings. Defensively, up until that final drive, they did the job.
They'll sit there and look at the 4 turnovers and the 6 sacks. The one thing that they wish they could come back for is that 4th and 20.
3rd and 3. Evans in motion. Glennon throws to Evans, and Evans, with the forward progress, has the 1st down.
You got to give Mike Glennon some credit for it. He knows pressure is coming in his face. He knows that he has got to get rid of that football. He sits in there, delivers a nice ball, and keeps the chains moving. And that's the sign of a tough quarterback. He's just sitting back there. Here comes the pressure. He knows it's coming. He sits in and makes sure he gets rid of that football accurately.
Doesn't hurt that he's 6'6", and he could see over the top of all these guys coming in after him. Doug Martin once again on the carry. Up to the 40, picks up 3. Well, last night it was an offensive explosion for the Giants as they even the World Series at 2 games apiece. Tonight, Game 5. The Aces go. Madison Bumgarner against James Shields. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. I tell you what, I know you're not supposed to root, but I was rooting for the Giants last night. I want to see at least 6 games in this World Series.
Who doesn't want to see a compelling game like that to see who's going to be the new champion?
Coming up on 2 minutes to go here in the 1st. And that's our first flag, a false start against Tampa Bay.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Evan Dietrich Smith, the center.
You know, a veteran football player like that, you know he's going to be very disappointed in making that, because as an offense, especially at home, the cadence is your friend. You've got to be able to use that to your advantage to make sure that you keep these defensive ends and defensive tackles from Minnesota off balance so that they're not jumping the count.
2nd down and 12 after the penalty. Glennon gets hit as he throws it. Everson Griffin applying the pressure. 3rd down coming up.
We talked about this matchup. You're going to see Griffin. He's going to turn it into a bull rush with that stab, but then he works back inside to that leverage. Very nice move by Everett Griffin, changing things up. You know, he started with the bull, then he ripped to the outside. So you're going to see it's going to be a chess match out there now between those 2 players.
Everson Griffin, 6'3", 275. 7 sacks already on the season. 3rd and long here for Tampa Bay. Glennon throws to his receiver Jackson, and Jackson could not get both feet down.
See Vincent Jackson at the top of the screen. He knows where those down markers are. He snaps it off to the sidelines. Just can't get that 2nd foot in.
Vincent Jackson the last game against Baltimore prior to the bye week, 4 catches, 66 yards. Michael Kanan on to punt. Fair catch by Marcus Sherrills made at the 22-yard line. Teddy Bridgewater, 2nd series for the Vikings, and a scoreless game here in the 1st. 1:19 to go here in this 1st quarter. Minnesota takes over after the punt. Bridgewater under center. Bridgewater drops back. Dumps it off to McKinnon. Flag comes flying in from the secondary. Levante David with a tackle. Let's wait to see what this flag is for. Looks like we got holding against Tampa Bay.
Before the pass, holding. Defense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, the first quarter has been a problem for the Tampa Bay defense this year, allowing, look at this, 72 points through the first 6 games in the 6 quarters. But, I mean, who could forget the Milwaukee Badgers from 1925? I know you know they were head coached by Johnny Bryan.
I love that we had to go back to a leather helmet. That just shows you how long it's been.
In case you were wondering, it wasn't just the first quarter for them when they struggled that year. They were outscored the entire year, 191-7. Bridgewater, another flag. Again goes to McKinnon. Up to the 37. David again with a tackle, but let's see what this flag is for.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 92. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That's against William Golston.
You know, that's a rule that they talked about emphasizing this year, that if you get a hand in the face, in the past, if you pulled it out, it wasn't a flag. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, the minute they see that hand to the face or a punch or a shot, they're going to throw that flag immediately.
Gerald McCoy gets a breather here with 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. First and 10 for Minnesota. Hand off to the wide receiver, Cordell Patterson. Let's see where they mark him. It looks like he's got. Does he have the first down? Very close.
And you're just going to see him motion across. They time it up with the snap. And the one thing when we talked to Alteron Werner, he said anytime 84 has the ball in his hands, he is straight up dangerous.
First down indeed on the run by Patterson. That'll do it for the first quarter. Still no score, Vikings and Bucks. Teddy Bridgewater's biggest fan, his mother, Rose Murphy, a breast cancer survivor. She handles all the ticket requests, and there were quite a few of them for Teddy coming back here to Florida. First and 10. Bridgewater changes the play. Hand off, McKinnon. And McKinnon gets a yard. Tackled by Alteron Werner. Well, this Vikings team a little bit different than what they expected. Obviously, everyone knows about Adrian Peterson being deactivated. Matt Castle was the starting quarterback. Season-ending injury. Kyle Rudolph, he's been inactive since week 3, and their wide receiving tandem of Jennings and Patterson really haven't done much. So in his first year, Mike Zimmer, what he's done is he's improved his defense drastically. But offensively, the team has struggled. Bridgewater completes the pass to Greg Jennings. Jennings across midfield to a 49 of Tampa, picks up 6.
And to go along with those missing weapons from the offense of the Minnesota Vikings, when we talked to Lovie Smith, and he said the schedule came out, he said, oh, Minnesota, Adrian Peterson. But when we talked to him, he said, this team is clearly a different football team without him on the football field, and we've seen that with the production that they've had on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, expectations is you've got a quarterback either in Bridgewater or Castle who just have to manage the game, who would hand off to a guy like Adrian Peterson. Bridgewater gets rid of it, was looking for Jennings. Jennings was looking for a flag, none on the play. And now a punt coming up for Minnesota.
Once again, the Tampa Bay defense was able to step up, apply pressure, and come up with another third down stop.
And here on 4th and 2, Bridgewater is out there. Minnesota's going to go for it. Tampa expecting maybe a punt. Trenton Holiday is back deep. A timeout is taken by Tampa. No score.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Ram Truck. Guts, Glory Ram. By Burger King. For a limited time, get 10 chicken nuggets for just $1.49. And by Corona, who invite you to find your beach.
After the timeout, Minnesota will not go for it. Jeff Locke, the punter, is on. Trindon Holiday is back at his own 10. A high punt. Holiday lets it go over his head. This goes in the end zone for a touchback. Tampa Bay will take over at their own 20. Teddy Bridgewater is saying, hey ho, hands to the face. Second quarter here in Tampa, scoreless game. Vikings and Bucks, 13:32 to go. Vikings take over at the 20. Bobby Rainey in at tailback.
Start forward.
Play action. Glennon throws and it's dropped by the rookie Mike Evans. 2nd and 10 coming up. The Bucks 1-5 on the season. Lovie Smith in his first year as the head coach, he knows this season is far from over, and they've tried to have almost an attitude adjustment.
Yeah, they most certainly have. And one thing that Lovie said is, as a football team, we've got to approach this game like there's 7.5 minutes left in the second quarter, and we've got to play this game out, and we've got to finish it. And, you know, I know firsthand last year, I was on an 0-6 team that actually won the last 7 of our last 10 games. So the football season is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and there's a lot of football left to be played. But the only way that they can do that is if they come together as a team and they trust one another. And that's what it's going to take for them to turn things around this season.
1-5 on the season. Lovie Smith spent 9 years as the head coach with the Chicago Bears. 3rd and 7 here for Tampa Bay. Glennon, pressure, dumps it off, flags are thrown. Rainey has it. Rainey has enough for the first down, but this one will be coming back.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
Negates the 16-yard completion. Garrett Gilkey gets called for the hold.
Sharif Floyd made a nice, quick inside move on that. And right away, Geekley knows exactly where they are on the football field, knows that he can't give that sack up and possibly give up a safety. So he reached out and grabbed. It was a clear call, and moving back this Tampa offense. And this is not the position that you want to be in as a group. 3rd and 17.
3rd and 17 from their own 12. The handoff to Rainey, a good job, and a late flag comes flying in.
I actually think they might call it on 72 again.
Holding. Offense, number 72. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is 4th down.
So you're saying as an offensive lineman you could pick that one up, huh?
That run right there is back-to-back holding calls, and I know that you've got disruptive guys, but look at the hands outside of the framework. Anytime the feet are beat and those hands are outside and they see that tugging, there is a penalty flag coming, and that is for sure.
Michael Kanan on to punt. Marcus Sherrill's at his own 30. Sherrill's a short punt by Kanan. Takes the Tampa bounce, and this is down at the 38 of Minnesota. Still no score. Bucks and Vikings here on Fox.
Today's game is sponsored by the new Samsung Galaxy Note 4. The next big thing is here.
1st and 10 from the 39 for Minnesota. Teddy Bridgewater, the youngster, Matt Asiata now in at tailback here for the Vikings. On 1st down, Bridgewater gets rid of it quickly to Jennings, spins away from a tackle. Jennings with a cutback, reaches over, has a first down as he takes it up to midfield. So Teddy Bridgewater is in a long line of quarterbacks for the Vikings. As a matter of fact, 27 starting quarterbacks in the last 35 years. And the question is Teddy Bridgewater that quarterback for the future for this Vikings team? And Mike Zimmer, he says he is. Again, the quick out, this time of Jarius Wright, who gets hit right away by Alteron Werner, a loss of 4.
Talk about Alteron Werner. Coming into this game, he has 306 tackles, which was 5th by the corners. So right now, that physical matchup, him being able to fight through that traffic and make that open field tackle and not be able to get that inside screen going for the Vikings offense.
2nd and 14. Bridgewater in the shotgun. Steps up. Dumps it off to Asiata. And Asiata gets up to the 45. You talk about what you need out of your quarterbacks. You need consistency, right? Well, look at the list of players who have 12-plus starts in a season at the quarterback position. They've gone 4 straight years without a quarterback making at least 12 starts, had the Vikings.
When you talk about that, Teddy Bridgewater was actually thrust into the starting position where they said in the beginning, we're going to let him sit back and learn.
7 completions to 7 different receivers for Teddy Bridgewater to open this game. Bridgewater goes down. Gerald McCoy, the first to get to him. The 3rd sack of the season for McCoy.
You're going to see the one-on-one matchup. Gerald McCoy right here at the right guard, over the right guard position against Berger, the brand new starter for the Vikings. That's just power. He just literally fights through the gap, continues to work, and is able to get that sack. That is what's called having a high motor and being relentless until the whistle blows.
Jeff Locke to punt. Holiday back at his 10. A good punt, unable to be downed. There was an opportunity for the Vikings. They couldn't do it. It'll be Bucs ball at their 20 with 9:09 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Teddy Bridgewater gets sacked for the first time today. He did not get sacked in his first start. His 2nd and 3rd starts sacked 13 times. Mike Glennon under center. On 1st down, it'll reverse an end around. And dragged down at the line of scrimmage by Everson Griffin. Well, college football returns to Fox this Saturday with a great game in the Pac-12 as Stanford heads to Eugene to take on 6th-ranked Oregon. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. Eastern only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Robert Perron.
Jack. Hurry.
And off to Doug Martin. 3-yard pickup. Well, Josh McCown starting at quarterback for the opener. This is a guy who really is a mentor to Mike Glennon. And he, now he's backing him up. He's still injured, has a thumb injury. But he's a fan of Mike Glennon.
He's a huge fan of Mike Glennon. When he came here and signed as a free agent, he said, if you're thinking about the long-term future of this organization, do not draft a quarterback because you have one of Mike Glennon.
Glennon trying to get it to his rookie tight end, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Anthony Barr defending him, and now that brings up 4th down.
Seferian-Jenkins just not able to come up with that ball. When it hits your hands like that and it's for a key conversion, you've got to come up with that play regardless of who you are and what year you are in the NFL, because that play right there is one that they know if you catch that ball, we can go back to you right away.
Back-to-back 3-and-outs for Tampa Bay's offense. Kanan to punt. Marcus Sherrills A chance to return from the 35. Sherrills gets up to the 40, a 5-yard return. 7.5 to go here in this first half. No score, Vikings and Bucks. The Vikings on their first 3 possessions, they reach Tampa territory each time. However, no points to show for it. McKinnon on the handoff, gets hit in the backfield and wrapped up by Danny Lansana. A loss of 4 on the play. Well, we talked about a matchup. Matt Khalil, he's been much maligned this year. What do you think about him so far?
I think he's doing a very nice job there. You just saw him right there, run Johnson pass. Look at him getting after him to the whistle there. This one, he does a nice job of punching, redirecting that inside and outside move. That's the thing that he needs to continue to do moving forward here, Khalil. On those first and second downs, he's got to make sure he's physical and tries to wear down Johnson, who hasn't played a full season this year yet.
Second and long. Bridgewater on the slant to Patterson. And Patterson up to the 45, gets 8 yards. Now 3rd and manageable for Minnesota. You mentioned how Teddy Bridgewater has to get rid of the ball quickly, utilize short passes. What do you think? What are your thoughts so far here in the first quarter and a half?
I think that he's doing a nice job, but they've got to do it consistently now. And now once we get this run game spreaded in, I think that's what's going to open up things.
3rd and 5. Asiata in. Bridgewater to Asiata, gets wrapped up right away. Levante David was there. 6 tackles already for David. And it's been a defensive battle or an offensive struggle, depending on how you want to look at it, through this first half.
Got to give Tampa a lot of credit on the coverage that they had there. You saw Teddy Bridgewater work through every single one of his progressions. Not a single receiver was open, so he had to go to his check down. Unfortunately, it's not enough to come away and move the chains with the first down.
The punters have been busy here in the first half for both teams. Jeff Locke again punting to Holiday. Fair catch made at the 12. Will we have some points here in the first half? You have to come back to find out. With a series tied at 2 games apiece, it's Game 5 of the Fall Classic tonight right here on Fox. The Aces going at it. Madison Bumgarner against James Shields. It starts tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Mark 4.
Lennon under center on first down. Going through his progressions and throws this one away. Mike Lennon out of North Carolina State was backing up Josh McCown before the injury. We talked about McCown mentoring Glennon. Laura, what have you seen and what have you heard from these 2 guys about the relationship?
I've heard something that if anyone doesn't know Josh McCown, they think the story isn't true. But I talked to Josh and I said, what do you want? Because he can play today. He's good to go. He said, I want the quarterback play to be efficient. If it's Mike, if it's me, when you're 1 and 5, you can't be worrying about that. It's bigger than that. Justin?
Lewis Murphy on the catch. 3rd down coming up, just a 4-yard pickup. So now it's 3rd and 6.
And when you talk about Josh McCown, essentially when he's been hurt, he's been the quarterback coach since Marcus Arroyo taken over calling the plays. I mean, to have a veteran like that who has an understanding and a grasp of this offense, but more than everything, his ability to coach and teach a younger player, I mean, that right there is something that they can't measure in numbers or anything like that, just leadership.
Glennon on 3rd and 6 out of the pocket. Glennon's going to try to run. Glennon, he's out just shy of that first down marker. He's saying, I reach for it.
You see it? Look at the coverage by it. Fights through the natural picks there. Nice defense on both sides of the ball. Nice coverage. Working that zone. Everybody's communicating. Let's
see if the spot is accurate. 3 straight 3-and-outs forced by Minnesota's defense. Marcus Sherrills back to receive the punt from Mike Kanan. And a whistle before the snap.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, that's one you can't have. Now you back yourself up even further. In case you're just joining us, you look at the scoreboard and you think, well, what's going on in this game? Here you have it. 6 punts, a missed field goal, an interception. That's been the story. Kanan gets off a good punt. Sherrills from the 32. Flag down near side of the field as Sherrills gets around the corner. Sherrills all the way across the 30 up to the 26 of Tampa Bay, but this could be coming back. The dreaded flag on the field.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 89. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Minnesota keeps the ball, 1st down.
Russell Shepard gets called for the holds. Excuse me.
You see right here is where that hold is going to come up in. See him working that tug right there at the back of the jersey. You know, as one of those guys, as a gunner, if you can't make that play and you're looking at the back of a guy's numbers, turn around and redirect, go back upfield. At that point, let your punt returner make one guy miss. Anytime they see any of those blocks, grab, pushes in the back, and you don't get your hat across, every referee is going to throw that flag.
Well, I was confused. Russell Shepard's on the other team. There's no 89 on the Vikings. So far, Bridgewater's been good as far as efficient, 9 of 10, but nothing to show for it. That negated a 42-yard return by Sherrills. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 35. Jarrett McKinnon in the backfield. Bridgewater's pass is deflected. 2nd and 10 coming up. Speaking of coming up, let's go back to L.A. for a game break. Here's Joe Clapp.
All right, thanks, Justin. We go to New England. The Bears trying to win their 4th game on the road this season, but it's not looking good. Tim Wright from Tom Brady, 3rd touchdown in his last 4 games. Patriots up 17-6 in the 2nd quarter. Coach, David and Laura.
All right, thanks so much, Joel. Remember a couple of weeks ago, people were saying, oh, what happened to the Patriots? Bench Tom Brady is done.
They've won 3 straight, and they're continuing to roll.
McKinnon wrapped up by Levante David. 7 tackles here in the first half for Levante David. Last time we had a scoreless game at halftime, 2011. The Bears at the Broncos. We're 3 minutes away from matching that. 3rd and 9. Matt Asiata in. Bridgewater to the sideline through the hands of Patterson. There is a flag on the field.
Before the pass is thrown, holding, defense, number 32. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
Isaiah Fry called for the penalty. And that is a costly penalty against Fry. Gives Minnesota the first down. 1st and 10 from the 41. Play action. Bridgewater. Bridgewater taking the shot down the field. Dangerous ball, jump ball. What a job by Charles Johnson to come back and basically knock that one down.
See at the top of the screen there, you're going to see the fly. He's just going to break it off, pull that little stutter step double move. And Bridgewater tries to air it out there, but he just doesn't get enough on that football. That is the first time that we've seen him take that long, deep shot or that throw downfield. Everything's been those short to 15-yard intermediate routes.
The longest play of the game for Minnesota is 15 yards to Patterson. Timeout taken here by Minnesota.
The first charge timeout.
2:33 to go here in this first half. No score. Vikings and Bucks. Teddy Bridgewater, the rookie, he's got some veterans on this team. Laura, one veteran in particular, his wide receiver, Greg Jennings. What has he thought about the youngster?
He leans on Greg a lot. Greg told me one of the first texts he got from Teddy said, "I'm going to prove to you how hard I'm going to work. In return, I want you to teach me everything you learned from playing with two of the greatest of all time." Of course, that's Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Biggest thing Greg said he's teaching him right now. We're seeing it today. Feel it, not see it. That's what he learned from Brett and Aaron. He said, if it's how you feel in the pocket or trusting your receivers to run a route, go with how you feel. Because if you wait till you see it, it's too late. Somebody already saw it.
2nd down and 10. Empty backfield. McKinnon splits out into the slot. Bridgewater throws high, incomplete for Jennings. Jennings was open. Mark Barron there on the coverage.
Minnesota Vikings offensive line does a nice job of getting protection up front for Teddy Bridgewater. You're going to see that horseshoe where he's able to step up and have that comfort to deliver that ball. Talking about Greg Jennings, we've seen him catch that ball 100 times, and you know as a veteran receiver, when you're leading the young guys, you've got to catch that football.
3rd and 10. Bridgewater to Asiata. Asiata gets up to midfield, a yard shy of the first down. Mason Foster with his 2nd tackle.
After that one, right now, currently, the Minnesota Vikings are only 1 for 6 on 3rd down. And you know, we said you want to utilize your check down, but you can't do it every single time on 3rd down when those running backs or those receivers aren't to the sticks to get the first.
2-minute warning here in Tampa, no score. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Scoreless game here in Tampa. It hasn't been pretty. Jeff Locke to punt. Trenton Holiday is back at his own 10 yet again. Holiday, fair catch. And he muffs it. Loose ball. It looked like Holiday got it. He does. He's able to recover it. Will be Bucs ball.
You know, this is something that a lot of teams and a lot of people have talked about with Holiday, his ability to muff the football and turn it over. He's lucky that he was able to get that one back, especially in that position that they are on the football field.
Just signed this week by the Bucs to be a return man to help out that return game. And that was almost a costly mistake. 1:51 to play here in the first half. A half that has seen neither team total 100 yards. Neither team been in the red zone. And neither team have a play greater than 15 yards. Glennon swings it out to Rainey. Rainey breaks free of one tackle. Nice play. 4-yard pickup coming up on the Visa halftime. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Falcons. Can you believe what happened to them in London? Wow. Glennon has problems with the snap. And he goes down. Sharif Floyd.
That all started with Anthony Barr. You're going to see Anthony Barr blitz, and they're going to run a stunt off of it. They already said they've never seen a rookie who's been more prepared on the defensive side of the ball than him. You're going to see him rough through. He's going to start that split the seam. You're going to see that pressure. He's going to make Glennon step up, and right there is how they've been able to create that pocket presence where they're not making him feel comfortable. He's starting to feel those hits, and they think that's what's going to lead to more turnovers for him.
And Minnesota takes a timeout right here because with 1:12 to go, Tampa Bay is backed up deep in their own territory. They have a chance maybe to get a punt return, maybe to have a short field and get some points on the board.
Right now, both of these teams are 1 for 6 on third down. They've got to do something here to change things up here before the half, but you're right. They're going to possibly have one more opportunity to get the ball to see if they can come up with some points before they start the second half.
3rd and 7.
Hey, Rip. Hurry.
Glennon, flags come flying, and Glennon goes down. Everson Griffin brings him down. 2 flags on the field.
We just saw Everson Griffin's sack daddy dance right there. That's something that nobody wants to see on an offensive side of the ball.
Holding, offense, number 70. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 4th down.
Here you go, Everson Griffin right here. We talked about the matchup against Collins. Turns again that into a bull and steps it back inside. The pressure started from the middle of the pocket by Sharif Floyd. Makes Glennon forced right into that. And there it is, the sack daddy by Griffin. That's 4 sacks in the last 2 weeks. It brings his total to 8 on the season.
And that ties a career high. Kanan. Sherrills makes the fair catch at the 34. A 50-yard punt by Michael Kanan. Everson Griffin having himself a career year.
He has really been absolutely explosive off of the edge for this Minnesota Vikings team. And you know, the one thing that is going to happen here from now on out, Griffin is having these sacks, so they're going to start to slide the protection and see if they can chip on that side. But I will tell you this, the one person that can create a lot of havoc in one-on-one matchups is the opposite side of him, Brian Robinson. He could really now maybe turn it on, considering all the attention is going to go to Griffin.
With a 1:01 to go, Bridgewater takes over at his own 34. Pumps. Bridgewater steps up over the middle to his tight end, Chase Ford. Ford to the 47 of Tampa Bay, a 19-yard completion, the longest play of this half. Just 1 timeout remaining here for Minnesota. Bridgewater again over the middle. And again, it's to the tight end, Ford. 11 yards, has the first down, 26 seconds.
Said right before this, Minnesota can come up with some points if they came up with that 3rd down stop, which they did. So let's see if Minnesota can strike and put something on the board.
A timeout taken here by Minnesota, the final timeout of the half. Let's find out what's coming up at the half. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, we'll show you why a penalty against Detroit actually helped them win when maybe it shouldn't have. The Seahawks look for a bounce back in Carolina, and the Ravens and Bengals battle for first in the AFC North. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime.
That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. But Teddy Bridgewater, his last 2 passes, targeting his tight end, Chase Ford.
That's the way that they've been going now in this 2-minute up-tempo drive. You feel that Teddy's got a little bit of a rhythm here moving forward, so this may be something in the second half. We see him running an up-tempo offense to get him more comfortable.
Bridgewater on the slant to Patterson, trying to get outside, trying to get out of bounds, cannot. An 8-yard gain. Bridgewater getting down there quickly. Again, no timeouts remaining.
Need to hurry up.
Bridgewater spikes it. Five seconds to go. Blair Walsh will come on. Missed a 56-yard field goal earlier. This will be a 46-yard field goal attempt. From 46. And a timeout taken before the kick. A timeout taken by Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
The icing. Let's ice him before the half here.
Hey, Lovey wants the first shutout to the first half in 668 NFL games. We've talked so much about how the pitching has been great in the World Series, minus last night, especially the bullpen for Kansas City. The defense is trying to pitch shutouts here in this first half.
See, look at, they're even playing the Vanilla Ice 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 Baby out here. They're feeling what Lovey is calling right now.
Walsh again from 46. And Walsh's kick is good. So much for the shutout. Walsh from 46 puts Minnesota on top. 3-0 to close out this half. Teddy Bridgewater, we talked about him coming in, has to take advantage of the short passes. He's done that today.
He most certainly has, but the problem is that some of those short passes were the ones that were created on third down that weren't enough to extend the drives and create that first down for this team. But I will say this, if you've noticed in this 2-minute drive up here, and they just ran there, I think that's the most comfortable I've seen Teddy Bridgewater today. So like I said in that drive, I wouldn't be surprised here in the second half that if Teddy Bridgewater comes out and they do something up-tempo-wise to maybe get him into that comfort mode where he's rolling, where he's moving in and out of the pocket, where you're more reacting and you're not thinking as much as you normally would.
Reminds him more of almost playing in college when he had so much success at Louisville, but also on that final drive, he targeted his tight end and they had some big plays. Again, you went back to it before. Playing, not thinking. He was just playing.
He was just playing there. And that, like you just said about the tight end position, that's something now, if they can hit him coming across the middle in those intermediate routes, that's going to open up Jennings and Patterson on the outside.
It was a defensive battle here in the first half. Minnesota avoids the shutout. They lead 3-0 at the half. Right now, let's go back to Kurt and the guys in L.A. The Nissan excitement. Well, there wasn't much excitement in that first half, but Teddy Bridgewater was 13 of 18 for 101 yards.
We'll see moving forward here, how are they going to come out this second half? Are they going to do exactly what they've been doing in the early on, and they're just going to keep down going with those earlier dinks and dunks? Are we going to see him take more shots downfield like the one that we saw him take there in the second quarter?
Kicking off, Michael Kanan through the end zone. Minnesota will start at the 20. And let's go down and check in with Laura Oakman.
David, I'm going to continue what you were talking about. I asked Mike Zimmer exactly that, saying we saw Teddy Bridgewater get that up-tempo rhythm going. Will we see more of that? And he said, I don't anticipate it. He's getting more comfortable with what the defense is giving him. He said, but the big key is we've got to pound the ball. As for the Bucs, they all came out of the locker room, the defense yelling takeaway. I asked Lovie Smith, is this a great defensive battle or is this two struggling offenses? He laughed and sighed and said, I like our defense. We have no takeaways. Got to do that. And the same thing Mike Zimmer said, got to run the ball, make some plays. Justin?
So that was the nice way of Lovie Smith saying the offense hasn't been good for either team. The handoff to Asiata, picks up 4. Let's look at those first half stats. They're kind of ugly, right? 72 total yards for Tampa Bay.
The 3 and outs, and right now we both talked about it. 1 for 7 for the Buccaneers on third down and 1 for 6 for the Vikings on third down.
That's the first time I've ever seen 3 and outs on a halftime stat board.
It most certainly is for me, too.
Second down and 6. The toss to McKinnon. And McKinnon gets wrapped up nicely by Levante David again for a loss of 1. That's his 10th tackle.
Levante David is the only player currently in the NFL with 200-plus tackles, 7 sacks, and 205 interceptions right there in itself. That as a linebacker, that as a player in this team, in this system, he's got to continue to move forward and be the leader of this group.
Levante David, back-to-back games with 14 tackles coming in. He's got 10 already in this one. 3rd and 7. Bridgewater throws, and that's complete to Charles Johnson. Johnson has the first down. Still moving, they blow the whistle as he gets up to the 35-yard line. A 12-yard pickup on 3rd and 7.
Now we're seeing a little rhythm out of Teddy Bridgewater coming into this. So Mike Zimmer said he feels like he's more comfortable here. But we shall see moving forward. Is this the continuing evolution of Teddy Bridgewater as a quarterback from this quarter on?
Again, do you go more of a hurry up, no huddle here for Minnesota? Get Bridgewater in that rhythm. Keep him in that rhythm. Bridgewater going downfield, incomplete for Charles Johnson. Had Johnson open down the seam.
I think that he had him. You're going to see the seam route by Johnson here. You're going to see him on the inside right here. He's just going to run through. You know, they're trying to communicate. He just runs right through the middle of that defense. If Bridgewater puts that ball on the money, that's a touchdown.
I will say this, Charles Johnson looked like he kind of stopped his route. And Bridgewater maybe thought he was going to continue. If he continues that route, maybe it's a good throw.
Well, those types of things, the miscommunication, are the things that you cannot have with the timing between a wide receiver and a quarterback.
What you do like is a run like that from Jerick McKinnon, a 14-yard run, picks up the first down.
Once again there, we're going to see some power football. You're going to see the backside guard pulling. You're going to see the tight end lead up on that right there. And let's get McKinnon rolling. Let's get him going downhill. And Matt Khalil early, that's somebody who has been receiving a lot of criticism. He's doing a nice job here going up against Charles Johnson, opening up those running lanes.
McKinnon averaging 4 yards per carry. Bridgewater was looking for Jarius Wright. Bridgewater 14 for 21 on the day, 2nd down and 10. Bridgewater from Miami. Played his college ball at Louisville. Actually had verbally agreed to go, verbally committed to the University of Miami. Randy Shannon got fired. He decommitted, went to Louisville. But Charlie Strong, drafted 32nd overall. Bridgewater gets hit as he releases that ball. And now 3rd and 10. Jacquez Smith applying the pressure against Bridgewater.
Now what they did this time is they saw that the running back is to that side. So since the running back's to that side, they're going to take Levante David to force that running back to take that block and create that one-on-one matchup. That right there, Michael Johnson was able to rip through that edge and almost ripped around and was able to get that sack forced fumble.
3rd and 10. 2 for 7 on 3rd downs today are the Vikings. Bridgewater incomplete. Intended for Adam Thielen. Alteron Werner jumping the route yet again.
Once again, we're sitting here working. We're watching these defensive backs, and you're going to see Werner fight through it. He sees that the running back and wide receiver sit back on that route, and he's able to jump it. So you're watching right away. Werner is able to see Teddy Bridgewater's eyes, and he is definitely looking down his wide receivers.
Second pass breakup of the game for Werner. Jeff Locke on to punt. Low snap. Goes over Holiday's head. Takes a bounce for the Vikings. And this will be downed at the 8-yard line. 43-yard punt. A long field coming up for the Bucs, trailing 3-0 here in the third quarter.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. By Papa John's. Congratulations, Peyton Manning, on your record-breaking touchdown achievement. And by Power Beats 2 Wireless.
Back here in Tampa, 3-0. The Vikings lead the Bucs. Tampa Bay takes over at their own 8-yard line. On first down, the handoff to Doug Martin. Picks up a couple of yards. Jasper Brinkley with a tackle. Have you heard about the new show Empire? It's coming in January, starring Terrence Howard as a hip-hop mogul and Taraji P. Henson as his just-out-of-prison ex-wife. If you love high drama and amazing music, Empire premieres in January on Fox.
I'm just a big fan of Terrence Howard. What an unbelievable actor.
And you're a big fan of hip-hop, so don't lie.
Yeah, I am. Rhythm is a dancer.
2nd and 8. Glennon dumps it off to his running back, Doug Martin, who gets tackled right away by Everson Griffin. Let's go back down to the field to Laura Oakman.
Justin, I told you guys one of the things Lovie said offensively to get this team in a rhythm, they're going to start running the ball. We've seen that. But also, we said the matchup they like right now on the outside, look for them to try to get those receivers on the outside more involved right now.
Well, right now they're facing a 3rd and 11 after that tackle for a loss by Griffin. And this Tampa offense has really done nothing so far today.
Laura makes a great point. Currently, Vincent Jackson does not have a single catch.
The last 4 possessions for Tampa, 3 and outs. Glennon goes to the outside, was looking for Vincent Jackson, incomplete. A punt coming up from the end zone.
To see that they're very lucky on the other side because Everson Griffin comes along clean, but he wasn't able to keep his feet and get around. So they're very lucky that they got away with one right there, because that right there is going to be a strip, forced fumble, and possible safety all in one.
5 3 and outs for the Buccaneers. The fans here booing them. Michael Kanan to punt from his own end zone. Sherrills up the middle, brings it across midfield. A flag comes flying in from the back. Ori Lemon with the tackle on special teams, a 51-yard punt.
During the return, holding, return team, number 32. It's a 10-yard penalty. Minnesota keeps the ball first down.
It hasn't been pretty despite a beautiful day here in Tampa. 3-0 Minnesota leading. You look at the offensive line for the Buccaneers, and this stat, I mean, that's just scary. More penalties than first downs.
You cannot have that and consider yourself to be playing at a winning level right now. In order for you to move forward here, you've got to convert on 3rd down.
Jared McKinnon with the cutback. McKinnon brings it up to the 45-yard line. An 8-yard run. Jared McKinnon, the rookie out of Georgia Southern. Twice this year when he has been handed the ball 15 times, he's gone over 100 yards. Week 4 at Atlanta, versus Atlanta, week 4 at Buffalo. McKinnon again with a bounce back. Good move. Up across midfield. And he has a first down. So McKinnon had 135 yards week 4 versus Atlanta. 103 last week at Buffalo. He's at 12 carries right now, 54 yards. He's getting a lot of time, obviously, with Adrian Peterson out. Matt Asiata, they thought he'd be the running back. Instead, it's McKinnon who's taken over.
Alert zero! Alert zero!
We're going express!
Again, McKinnon breaks free. McKinnon Looked like he ran into his own man, still bounces outside, and he gets tackled at the 20.
Do a nice job here on the right side of the offensive line. You're going to see Loadholt and Berger work that double team, continue to press, get him to the second level, and then from there, as long as you get your back through a clear lane and a back like McKinnon, he is able to be versatile. He is able to be elusive, and let him make the decisions and strides himself. But just give him the confidence. Get him through that hole. Let him break the arm tackles and beat one blocker.
28-yard run by Jerick McKinnon, longest play of the day. McKinnon hitting the backfield. He's going to go down at the 27-yard line. Michael Johnson gets credited for the tackle for a loss of 5.
I know Michael Johnson has been known for a pass rush, but you're going to see him here down at the bottom of the screen. That is what you call clinic as a defensive tackle or a defensive end, because that is pure form. He shoots his hands inside, is able to get that pressure, lock it, force everything back inside, shuck at the last minute, and still come up to make that tackle. Clinic work right there.
Asiata now in the backfield. 6 tackles for a loss by the Tampa defense so far today. Bridgewater in the shotgun. Throws it out wide to tight end Chase Ford. Werner with the stop. A 9-yard pickup.
Nice play design there. They had Chase Ford sitting in there a little bit extra, thinking that he was going to chip on the edge. Just slide him right out on that route to the...
Breaking news. Our first red zone play of the day. Third and 6 from the 17. Bridgewater throw into the end zone for Jennings. Touchdown. '17-yard touchdown pass from Teddy Bridgewater to Greg Jennings.
You got to give Bridgewater a lot of credit, because you're going to see one-on-one. McCoy, boom, beats him right away on that inside move and is able to get that pressure right in the face of Bridgewater. When you have McCoy in your face and you're able to sit in there and throw a ball like that to Jennings, that shows that you're coming along as a rookie quarterback, and that means that you're a tough, confident guy, and you know what it takes here in the second half.
The second receiving touchdown of the year for Jennings. The second passing touchdown of the year for Bridgewater. Blair Walsh for the extra point. Our first red zone play leads to a touchdown. It's 10-0 Minnesota.
This game is sponsored by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network.
New this season, streaming live local Sunday afternoon games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Teddy Bridgewater throwing his first touchdown of the game. Six plays, 63 yards, and 3 minutes and 9 seconds for Minnesota. A 17-yard touchdown catch by Jennings. Blair Walsh to kick off. Trendon Holiday in the end zone. Holiday will take a knee. Bridgewater, the rookie, locks in with a veteran Greg Jennings, and Bridgewater's mom, Rose Murphy, she loves it. 10-0 Minnesota leading Tampa Bay here in the third quarter. Teddy Bridgewater with a touchdown pass to Greg Jennings. And Dave, you know, we saw him kind of build that confidence at the end of the first half. Yep. And then all of a sudden that drive, that was the best we saw Minnesota's offense all day.
That is the best that we have seen Teddy Bridgewater, but this is the best I think we've seen their offense. Started getting the run game going, getting McKinnon, Dyson through on those zone stretches, got their tight end involved, and started really stretching the field and getting the veteran Jennings involved and getting that touchdown. So moving forward here, let's see if the Buccaneers can respond off of that.
They need to respond. The Bucs offense has been stagnant.
Hurry, hurry!
On first down, the handoff is to Doug Martin, who gets hit once again. But let's talk about this Tampa Bay offense, because they've done nothing all game. And how? What can they do to just get something positive going?
I think, number one, they cannot have the penalties that they have. We saw that they have more penalties than they have first downs currently. So that cannot happen, especially for a home team. You can't get yourself out of sync. But also, you've got to get down to square one. Let's run the ball successfully on first and second down and make sure we keep ourselves out of those third and long situations, because that right now has let Griffin and this defense for the Vikings run wild.
Second down and 9. Glennon comes to the tight end, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who dives. And let's see where they mark him down to be very close to that first down marker. Let's check in real quick for a game break with Joel Clapp.
All right, Cuts, let's go to New England, where there is a serious beatdown occurring. The Patriots up 45-7 after Gronk's third touchdown of the day. This one from 46 yards. Remember where people were talking about benching Brady? Yeah, 45-7. Justin, David, and Laura.
Joel, we just talked about it before. Yes, we do. I wonder what those people are saying now. Glennon going for a receiver who wasn't there, and there is the flag thrown. Mike Evans was trying to break free.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 29. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Xavier Rhodes called for that penalty. Only the third against the Vikings today.
See at the top of the screen, working right there, one-on-one against Mike Evans. After 5 yards, clearly has his hands outside of the framework. He's holding them. And that right there is continuing to move the chains right now for Tampa Bay. If you're going to give them that opportunity, Tampa Bay is going to try to take full advantage of it.
Bobby Rainey in the backfield. Evans in motion. Hand off to Rainey. Gets bottled up. Flag comes from the far sideline.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. That's a 15-yard penalty added at the end of the play and an automatic first down.
Well, the best offense right now for the Bucs are the penalties against the Vikings defense.
You had 2 penalties right now in this drive, and it's continuing to move the chains for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Starting running back Doug Martin is being worked on right now. So Bobby Rainey is in. Only the second possession for the Bucs across midfield. Rainey on the carry. They'll get a yard.
It's a nice play right there by Chad Greenway. Sees an opening, comes down, fills that gap quickly, is able to force everything back inside to Griffith and Floyd and everybody else on that defensive tackle side of the ball.
Let me ask you a question, and being serious. Minnesota, back-to-back losses, allowing 17 points. Has their defense been that good, or has the offense been that bad for Tampa Bay?
Well, I got to give a lot of credit to the Vikings defense, because they've been putting up numbers all year with turnovers, sacks, but they just haven't been able to close those big games that they've needed to.
Mike Evans on the completion. There is a flag in the backfield, though. These fans finally have something to cheer for, and it may go for naught.
Holding, offense, number 73. That's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Right here, we're going to see Anthony Collins, the left tackle, gets called for the hold. Once again, they see that they're getting that TE twist, and he's splitting the gap. He's just holding on for dear life to make sure that Glennon doesn't take another hit.
And he tackled him.
No, that's good form.
Negates a 26-yard play to Mike Evans. Pressure coming again. Glennon escapes on the run, slides, and he is down. Touched by Chad Greenway, picks up 6. And there's a player down in the backfield for Minnesota. That's Sharif Floyd, number 73. But he gets up. He's all right.
You got to give Glennon some credit right there of being able to move out of the pocket, because that pocket is getting pressed right into his lap.
3rd and 13.
Five, 4. What's the high? Hey, brick. Brick. Make it to the Hurry.
Glennon pressured, goes down. Sacked. Tom Johnson with his 5th sack of the year.
So they understand that they're going to chip and run. You're going to see Smith off of the edge. They're going to bring Barr inside so that there are no chips or helps out. So it's one-on-one matchups. And clearly right now, the Minnesota Vikings defensive line are winning each one of these one-on-one matchups and are getting that pressure and the sacks that they need on Glennon to force those 3 and outs.
3 sacks by Minnesota's defense here today. Michael Kanan's punting to Sherrills from the 5. Sherrills able to get a 2-yard return before Bobby Rainey on special teams able to make the tackle. So a long field coming up for the Vikings. The defense has played well for Minnesota as they're pitching a shutout. The Vikings backed up deep in their own territory will start at their own 7. This is a chance right now for Tampa Bay's defense to step up, trying to force a 3 and out and get good field position. On 1st down, the handoff is to Asiata. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Let's go back to that last drive with Teddy Bridgewater.
This last drive by Teddy Bridgewater showed me a lot about him and his confidence. His ability after taking all the sacks and pressures in the previous games, coming into this one with McCoy coming down the bow in his face, his ability to still maintain composure, deliver that ball in an accurate spot, and score that touchdown shows the toughness and his durability and his accountability as a quarterback.
Asiata gets hit in the backfield by Levante David, his 12th tackle of the day. The 7th tackle for a loss by the Bucs defense, a loss of 5.
And you're going to see Levante David right here in the middle of the defense. That is a student of the game. He ran that play down and saw that a guard was pulling before it even happened. That is an instinctual player. That is a player who's a student of the game. And just based off of that formation, he was able to diagnose that and make that big tackle.
Chase Ford, the player down for Minnesota. He's getting up. We'll take a break. First time today we've seen this crowd get into it in Tampa, realizing this is a big moment. The ball is on the 2. 3rd and 15 for Minnesota. The defense can come up with a big play, get the ball back. We've seen pressure. What do you do now if you're Minnesota? They've gotten stuffed on a couple of runs. Bridgewater in the shotgun. Asiata in the backfield. A handoff to Asiata, and he just gets a few yards to give his punter, Jeff Locke, some room. Gets 5, so the defense steps up for Tampa Bay. Levante David with his 13th tackle of the day.
Talk about a dynamic playmaker, and if you want to talk about the Tampa 2 defense and you think about the linebackers that used to play in this system, the Hardy Nickersons, those guys, Derek Brooks, he is the epitome of what it takes to be a linebacker in this system. To be able to diagnose back-to-back plays like that, create havoc in the backfield and have more tackles for a loss. He's just that type of player, and he's showing why he's the leader of that team.
This ball will bounce out of bounds at the 49 of Tampa, so good field position for the Bucs with 39 seconds to go here in this 3rd quarter. And Laura, what are you seeing down there on the sidelines?
Well, I'll tell you, Lovie talked about wanting to get this ground game going. This does not help. Doug Martin right now, without his helmet, standing on the sideline, not going in. He is questionable with the left ankle. Athletic trainers taped up that ankle on the ankle and then put the shoe on, taped over that. Right now he's questionable, not going in on the series.
Not good news for the Bucs. Best starting field position. This is good news for them.
Mark 4.
Glennon on first down. Over the middle to his running back, Rainey. Breaks free of a tackle. And Rainey gets shoved out of bounds by Xavier Rhodes. Picks up 10, gets the first down.
It's a nice job by Brandon Myers, the tight end, continuing to block, to stretch that, and for Rainey to continue to move forward and get that first down.
I'm going to say it. I think if you're Tampa Bay right now, you've got to get points on this possession.
You have to score a touchdown on this possession in order to get some confidence. Yeah, granted, you want to say, yeah, 3 points will be enough, but you need to do something to change the momentum of this football game.
A toss to Rainey, and Rainey gets wrapped up around the ankles by Shamar Stephen. That is the end of the third quarter. Minnesota leading 10-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a break from your local station. Well, Lovie Smith said during the bye week that the tournament begins on Monday. 2 games out of first place. You look at the NFC South right now. Atlanta losing. They're now 2-6. As bad as the Bucs have played this year at 1-5, they're not out of it.
No, they're not. You talk about the football season as being a marathon, and I told you I calculated to our season when I was on the New York Giants last year. We started off 0-6, but we were able to fight back and win 7 the last time.
Glennon drops back, throws. Good adjustment by Brandon Myers. 3-yard completion, third down coming up. Just 1 of 9 on third down conversions, and with that play, the Bucs now have 100 yards of total offense. Third and 6. Glennon gets rid of it quickly, incomplete. The pressure was coming. Glennon went down.
If it isn't broke, don't fix it. They ran the exact same stunt that they ran before. They shot Smith off of the edge, bar down the middle, and you're going to see Griffin work that one-on-one. He's just tying him up. It's a great job by Mike Collins, or Anthony Collins, sitting down in there. But at that point, when you're that offensive tackle going up against him and that defensive end, he's not really trying to get the sack, because he's really trying to open up things for Smith coming off of that edge. He's just trying to tie you up.
Patrick Murray on for a 54-yard field goal attempt. And Murray's kick is good from 54. They got the points. Not a touchdown, but still points.
It's a nice kick right there. Got his whole leg into that one.
Inside the uprights with some room to spare. It's a 10-3 game here. Last night, San Francisco, the Giants put up 11 to even up the series at 2 games apiece. Game 5 of the World Series tonight, Madison Bumgarner against James Shields, 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. George M. Steinbrenner Field, right next door here in Tampa, the site of the New York Yankees spring training. It used to be called Legends Field for a reason, although I believe you've got a jersey, number 7 for the Yankees, not Mantle, but Costanza.
The living Mickey Mantle tribute, the 7 Costanzas. You know, I had to compromise as a loyal Southside White Sox fan growing up in Chicago. My daughter, her whole life growing up in the state of New Jersey and New York, seeing 2 NYs, the Giants and the Yankees. You know, you got to take one for the team and do what's best for your daughter.
Cordell Patterson on the return. And Patterson brings it back to the 20. Teddy Bridgewater and the Vikings leading by 7. A minute into this fourth quarter. The Vikings entered this game 2-5. Losing 3 in a row. Lost last week, a heartbreaker at Buffalo, 17-16. When Sammy Watkins caught a pass, the second remaining in the game. Play action on first down. Bridgewater towards the sideline, incomplete to Rhett Ellison. Those are the balls that you need to complete. Open receiver. It's not a big hit, but it could pick up 5 yards.
And you can go back to what we discussed earlier in the football game. You said you can't put it all on Teddy's shoulders. Guys have to make plays, and that's a play right there. When it hits your hands, you've got to come up with that catch. There's no excuses for that.
McKinnon, good patience. Picks up 5 yards. Third down and 5. William Golston with his first tackle of the game. Bridgewater, 16 of 26, 139 yards and a touchdown. McKinnon has been good in the backfield for the second straight game. And Patterson, 31 yards on 3 catches. The touchdown pass was to Greg Jennings. 3rd and 5 here for Minnesota. We saw Tampa Bay come up with a big defensive stop the last drive.
Let's see if they bring some pressure on because they're walking up their linebackers here. Rush 4.
Bridgewater forced down. Gets rid of it to Asiata. Asiata has some blockers, and he takes it up to the 45. Marked down now at the 46. There is a flag on the field, and it looks like this one's coming back.
Pass interference. Offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 3rd down.
Called against the tight end, Chase Ford. Would have been a 21-yard play to Asiata. Instead, you're coming back and facing a 3rd and 15. Again, these fans making some noise.
Let's see if they can create pressure with 4 like they did the last play.
Bridgewater has a man open. Patterson could not hold it in. Or does he? Yes, he does.
Minnesota's hurrying up, too.
Well, yeah, you don't want a chance to review this.
No. Alteron Werner thinks that he has help because he clearly let him go inside, thinking that he had help coming from the backside.
Minnesota tried getting the play off quickly.
Prior to the snap, Tampa Bay has challenged the ruling of the field of a completed pass.
They challenge this. Does he have the catch with possession? We'll find out after this.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today. By Burger King. For a limited time, get 10 chicken nuggets for just $1.49. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Let's bring in Mike Pereira from L.A. Mike, looking at this play, the catch by Cordero Patterson. Was it a catch?
I'll tell you, it is really tight here, but he bobbles here. Watch the right toe. When does he repossess the ball? Is the right toe dragging when he does? Remember, on the field, they ruled it
After
a catch.
review,
Pretty
the
tight.
ruling on the field stands. It will be 1st down and 10, Minnesota.
Well, Mike just said it. On the field, they called it a catch. The call stands. Not confirmed, it stands. So they didn't have enough evidence to overturn it. Mike, do you like that call?
Yeah, I do, and I really want the league to stay consistent with that. And in that case there, he did repossess the ball. There was a toe drag. Was it obvious that the foot was up off the ground when he got control? No. So to me, it's a good job of staying with the call. Anytime we say it's close and it's tight, that's to me when they should stay with what was ever called on the field.
So a 1st down for Patterson and the Vikings.
That's 20! That's 20!
Bridgewater Completes the pass to his fullback, Jerome Felton. Now he drops it incomplete. Golston applying the pressure off the edge against Bridgewater.
He got a big hit on that one, too. Look at this. Ooh. Boom. See that shoulder, that head going to the turf.
A nice job by Danny Lansana to rip it away from Jerome Felton.
That was something that Lovie Smith and Leslie Frazier said this week. They did extra drills working on trying to create those forced fumbles and those turnovers.
Bridgewater pumps to the sideline, comes back to Patterson, who couldn't make the one-handed catch. Bridgewater has been under pressure through most of this day. However, just one sack. And that's big because the previous 2 weeks, he'd been sacked 13 times.
And that is not something that you want to put a young quarterback in that position where he's getting hit that much and is going through those growing pains, because the name that always comes up to me when you start piling on those sacks is David Carr.
3rd and 10, another opportunity for this Tampa defense. Bridgewater goes up top to Patterson, who makes the catch again on 3rd down. Great throw, great catch.
Look at that ball that he throws. You're going to see him working at the top of the screen. He fights through that hand pressure. And look at the way that Bridgewater was able to put that ball over Banks' head to where Patterson was the only receiver and the only person that would be able to go up and catch that ball.
Back-to-back 3rd down conversions from Teddy Bridgewater to Cordell Patterson. McKinnon takes the handoff. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. Patterson now with 74 receiving yards on the day. He had just 2 catches for 9 yards. And that loss last week at Buffalo.
And the one thing that with Patterson, we saw him on the reverse. And we said when we talked to Alteron Werner, he said this guy is just straight explosive and dangerous anytime he gets the football.
Bridgewater steps up with plenty of time, taking a shot down the field, incomplete. Overthrows Charles Johnson. Jonathan Banks on the coverage. It seems like Bridgewater has been just off a bit on those passes when he goes deep.
He missed the one down the seam earlier in the 3rd quarter, and then that one right there. I mean, but you got to give Teddy credit for the way that he's played the second half.
Trying to convert on 3rd again. Empty backfield. Pressure coming. The pass is deflected. And Bridgewater goes down. Slow to get up, but he is getting up.
You see the pressure off of the edge by Smith. He's just going to rip around the tight end and is able to get his hands up and get it into that throwing lane of Teddy Bridgewater and get him in, force him to punt the football.
Michael Johnson delivered the hit on Bridgewater. Holiday again back at his 10 to receive. Jeff Locke to punt. Holiday lets it go over his head. Bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Tampa Bay trailing by 7. Will start this drive from their 20 here in the 4th quarter. Week 8 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you right here on Fox. Then tonight was Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Vincent Jackson, no catches on the day for the Bucs. With that said, Mike Glennon only 10 completions on the day. Glennon on first down to throw down the sideline, and he completes the pass to Mike Evans. Big time completion on first down, 40 yards. There is a flag though in the backfield.
Illegal hands to the face, defense, number 98. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
You see Josh Robinson up here at the top of the screen working one-on-one against Mike Evans. I mean, but just look at the size difference between them. You've got a 5'10 Robinson against a 6'5 Mike Evans. So yeah, you may have used the boundary to your advantage, but Evans was strong enough, big enough to be able to force off of that fight with the hand and still be able to go up and catch that ball.
40-yard completion, biggest play of the game for either team. Hand off to Rainey. And Rainey gets swallowed up. A loss of 1. Corey Wooten with a tackle.
See Corey Wooten fired up. He was questionable coming into this football game, and you know that's one of the things that they need for this Vikings team. If they're going to pressure and have this type of style of defense, they need those interior defensive tackles in line fresh and healthy so that they can rotate like those hockey line shifts and everybody is able to get their turn at attacking the quarterback.
Glennon off to Rainey. Rainey gets the first down and a dangerous collision as he took out Vincent Jackson. But fortunately, that knee bent the way it was supposed to and no injury.
That's a nice design there. You're going to see Bobby Rainey at the running back position. He's going to check, make sure nobody blitzes, and just clears through and is able to make a big play one-on-one against Ball.
You know what? Jackson was very lucky. His feet were up in the air, not planted.
Yes, he was.
First and 10 from the 29 of Minnesota. Rainey up the middle. Picks up 4. Second down and 6.
It's a nice double team by Logan Mankins and Evan Dietrich Smith right there. They're able to press and get him to the second level. And that's why they went out and got Logan Mankins to try to solidify the inside of this offensive line. And he's a proven all-pro. When he is healthy, he's one of the most dominant guards in the NFL.
5-time All-Pro in his time with the Patriots. Pump fake. Glennon gets tricked up from behind. Brian Robinson, a loss of 2.
So you're going to see them scramble. They're going to run the misdirection. He's looking for Brandon Myers, but he sees the coverage that he's not able to throw it. Unfortunately for that, he takes a sack on that one. You got to give credit for Robeson. They ran that reverse. They ran that play action. He maintained his backside containment, making sure everything was forced for him. Inside out, was able to make that play.
3rd and 8. Rainey tackled. 4th down coming up. Chad Greenway and Josh Robinson combined for the tackle. 7:57 to go. Field goal unit coming on. Patrick Murray on for a 45-yard field goal attempt. He connected from 54 already. Murray from 45. And it's a 4-point game. 10-6. Minnesota leads Tampa here in Tampa.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it.
Well, we got a ball game, 10-6. The Vikings lead the Buccaneers with 7:19 to go in this 4th quarter. It hasn't been a pretty game. The 2 quarterbacks, Mike Glennon, Teddy Bridgewater, trying to get a victory. The Bucs enter this game 1-5. The Vikings 2-5. The Bucs coming off the bye week. Michael Kanan will kick off. Patterson. He's going to try to return it from 8 yards deep in the end zone. Patterson brings it across the 20 up the 22-yard line, and that's where Teddy Bridgewater will start here for the Vikings. But let's talk about this Bucs defense, because a couple of straight possessions, they've done the job. They've gotten the ball back to their offense. No touchdowns, but still points on the board for Tampa.
Yeah, they've been able to get points on the board, but it's been field goals. They do not have a single possession right now inside the red zone. So you got to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense a lot of credit for being able to get the Vikings on 3 and outs, being able to get them to force them to punt the ball. But right now, we need Tampa Bay's offense to step up and take advantage of it, because settling for field goals in this football game is not going to win it.
Teddy Bridgewater on first down. Takes the short pass to Asiata. And Asiata gets tackled by Lansana and David. A pickup of 5. Tampa has 2 timeouts remaining. They lost the timeout on that challenge. 2nd and 5. Handoff to Asiata. Gets a yard. 3rd and 4. 3rd down and 4. There's still plenty of time on the clock. What are you doing here if you're Minnesota?
If I was going to Minnesota right now, I know everybody's going to think, well, get it to your big, wide receivers, get it to Jennings or Patterson. For me, I would look for maybe possibly running some type of screen. Or see now, look at that tight end matchup at the top of the screen here. We've got Ford, who's been a guy who's been able to make some catches here to convert it.
On 3rd and 4, that pass was batted down at the line.
Well, that time they tried doing something different. You're going to see Bridgewater stops. He steps up. He gets that quick release. But look, you're going to see Golson. He sees his eyes. He sees that he's going to pull up and that Bridgewater's about to release it. He stops his rush. He plants his feet and gets that hand up in that throwing lane for a nice pass defense.
Trendon Holiday back to receive this one at the 25. High snap. Locke able to bring it down. Gets off a beauty of a punt. Holiday back at the 11. Makes the first man miss. Holiday then gets hammered at the 27. Wow, did he take a shot? Michael Maudie. Wow. Want to be a punt returner? Think again.
What a hit.
Trendon Holiday, meet Michael Maudie. Oh.
You've got 245 against 165. And you want to talk about excitement and energy. Look at the way that the sideline and all the players on the Vikings bench responded to that play. They all jumped up. They ran right to him, and we're all congratulating and celebrating. And that may be the spark that the Vikings needed, because that hit like that, it gets everybody on the sidelines excited.
On first down, Glennon over the middle, throws high, tipped, incomplete.
Ooh.
Robert Blanton coming in, nearly had the interception.
You're going to see here Mike Evans going to go across. There you see him split it off and break off that route. Ball's thrown high to where he can't reach out and grab it. And you have a 6'5" guy, that ball's going to get tipped extra high. They're lucky that that one didn't get intercepted.
On the slant to Jackson, his first catch of the day, and it's a first down. Time for a game break. Let's go back to LA and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Bengals started 3-0. They haven't won since. Haloti Ngata stripping it away from Andy Dalton. Darryl Smith scoops it up. He does not score. Lorenzo Telefero does 2 plays later. And the Ravens defense just got another turnover as they lead it by 1 late in the 4th quarter. Justin, David, and Laura.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Back here in Tampa. Justin Kutcher alongside David Deal and Laura Oakman. 10-6, Minnesota leads Tampa Bay. 5 minutes to go, but the Bucs marching down the field yet again. Glennon takes the short pass to Rainey, and Rainey gets tackled from behind, pushed forward, another first down.
Rainey right now is leading the team with 6 receptions as a running back.
Well, we talked about Teddy Bridgewater taking that short pass, not forcing things. That's what Glennon's doing.
I think the thing that they really needed to do in this drive, which they started off right away, get Vincent Jackson involved in this drive moving forward here, because his big bro, he's the big bro of Mike Evans. So when Vincent Jackson goes, Mike Evans goes too.
Wow, a bad spot. It looked like they clearly had the first down. Instead, now the pass to Evans, and that should be a first down. There is a flag. It looks like it's going to be pass interference against Xavier Rhodes, or a hold against Rhodes.
Holding. Defense, number 29. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
We're just talking about getting those big play receivers involved. Mike Evans is able to fight through that. But look at Anthony Collins. He takes his guy. Griffin is cut down by Rainey as the back. That was able to make sure that he didn't get his hands up to pass defense that one and be able to deliver that ball to Mike Evans.
A 23-yard completion. Glennon looking for Jackson. Jackson went down. There's the flag. Josh Robinson on the coverage.
We talked about the last drive that the
Pass
penalties.
interference. Defense, number 21. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Last drive that Tampa Bay Buccaneers had as well, they were able to move the ball because of the penalties that were accrued by the Minnesota Vikings. This is the second time in a row, second drive, where the miscues and the penalties by the Vikings are actually helping out Tampa Bay, moving the football as an offense and build confidence.
First play in the red zone here for Tampa Bay of the day. Glennon on the run, gets shoved out of bounds by Anthony Barr.
The offensive line for Tampa Bay does a great job of picking it up, blocking up the front four. But look at the coverage by Minnesota. They always talk about that they want to challenge each and every one of these wide receiver routes. And on that possession, on that play, they did, and they won that battle. Easy, big fella. He almost went down there.
Second down and 10, under 4 to play. Don't worry, I got the Seinfeld reference.
Good. It's landing on pretty thick.
Glennon. The pass is complete. So Lewis Murphy. A 7-yard completion. 3rd and 3. They have to get to the 7-yard line for the first down. There's 3:30 to go. 2 timeouts remaining for Tampa Bay. Rainey in the backfield. Handoff to Rainey. And Rainey with that push, it looks like he's going to be just short. 4th down coming up.
You see a good push and surge by the Tampa Bay offensive line, getting each one of those defensive linemen on one leg for the Vikings. Just short.
With 2:45 to go, 4th and 1, they're going to go for it. And now a timeout will be taken by Minnesota as they had some confusion defensively.
Minnesota. This is the 32nd timeout. This is our first charge timeout.
Tampa Bay went for it on 4th down. Their first drive, they converted. Now they're going to go for it here. As we look forward to next week, Fox NFL Sunday returns. These Bucs take on the Browns. The Vikings square off against the Redskins or other regional action. It all starts with the Fox NFL Sunday kickoff show at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1, followed by Fox NFL Sunday at noon Eastern on Fox. But David, let's talk about this setup right now. You got 4th and 1. Essentially, this is the game.
Yeah, this is the game right here, because if you do not convert this with your first possessions moving down here into the red zone, I just have a feeling Minnesota is going to be able to run out the clock and use that to his advantage.
Mike James in the backfield. They hand off to James. James, let's see the spot.
I think they're going to have to measure this one. It's close. It is close.
By our line, it looks like it is right on the line for a first down, but we're going to have to wait to see the measurement.
Logan Mankins pulls from the left guard position to open up that hole, takes on that block right there, is able to open up by blocking up Greenway. So let's see after they measure that up.
Sharif Floyd and Jasper Brinkley combined for the tackle. First down. Wow. Before you said it was a game of inches.
Look at James, just smart, is patient, lets Megans kick that out, is tight, and just continues to move forward. It's the biggest conversion for them all season right there, I think.
First and goal from the 7.
Right forward. Overtime.
Play action, Glennon to the end zone. Touchdown! Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Could it be heartbreak 2 weeks in a row for Minnesota? The first career touchdown for Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Nice play call by Marcus Royal. They ran the play before power. This time they're going to run power sell it. They make it look and sound like run. Those linebackers and defensive backs get caught up in it and sink inside. He's able to get that ball to Austin Seferian-Jenkins for the touchdown.
Three straight scoring drives by the Bucs. 2 field goals and now a touchdown. And Patrick Murray on for the extra point. The extra point is good. Last week, the Vikings had a 16-10 lead in the 4th quarter at Buffalo. On 4th and 20, Kyle Orton to Scott Chandler. And then, with 1 second remaining, Sammy Watkins with a touchdown. Heartbreak for Minnesota. And now here, leading all game until this 4th quarter. And Glennon finds his rookie tight end, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. And what do you know? But Tampa Bay is on top by 3. But guess what? There is still plenty of time. 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining. You've got 2 timeouts remaining for the Vikings. And all you need is a field goal.
It's a lot easier said than done, Justin. And it's going to be a big drive right here. And let's see how they come out as an offense for Minnesota. You know, we've seen the second half. North Turner has done a nice job of letting Teddy Bridgewater get comfortable in the pocket by being able to run the ball effectively, getting his tight end involved. But they're not going to be able to be that patient on this drive. They're going to have a sense of urgency to move this ball down the field. And they have to.
But they did a good job with a 2-minute drill in the first half. With just a minute left, they took over, they marched down the field, they got a field goal. Patterson will take it from 4 yards deep in the end zone. Patterson gets across the 20, loses the ball, but they're going to say he was down. A 2-minute warning here in Tampa. Austin Seferian-Jenkins with a touchdown to give Tampa the lead. Minnesota with the ball, trying to tie it or win it when we come back. Here we go. 13-10. Tampa Bay leading Minnesota, 1:57 to go. 2 timeouts remaining for the Vikings. Remember, Teddy Bridgewater led the Vikings down the field to close out the first half. In about a minute time, went 3 for 4, 38 yards. The winning completion was the spike. Bridgewater on first down, throws. There's the flag. Patterson, the intended receiver. Alteron Werner on the coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
You see him working right here against Patterson one-on-one after those 5 yards. You see that hand, that hip, that hugging, that twist right away. After 5 yards, we all know and we've heard and seen the emphasis putting on pass interference and illegal use of hands.
Bridgewater pumps couple times, finds Patterson. You can see him just back up, get the first down up to the 39. Bridgewater, we saw his comfort level with that 2-minute warning or a 2-minute drill in the first half. He's in a rhythm right now. Throws this one away again in the direction of Patterson.
You want to talk about using home field advantage and a TV timeout to your advantage. You talk about distractions in front of a huddle of an offense. I remember being in those and guys being like, don't turn around, don't turn around. I'm like, how can you not turn around and look?
You can't say don't turn around.
Yeah, it's like don't look up. Yeah. Everybody looks up.
1:22 to go, second down and 10. Pressure coming on Bridgewater, throws it up for Jennings. Jennings has it, and he gets out of bounds. Or does he not get out of bounds? The clock continues to run.
Now, we talked about this earlier, about Teddy Bridgewater. You know, with all the pressure, all the sacks, everything he's had in his face, he has done a great job this second half, sitting in there, having the composure, knowing that he needs to get rid of the ball in time, but still taking those big hits.
Under 50 seconds. Bridgewater throws, nearly picked off. Jonathan Banks tried jumping the route, almost sealed the game for the Bucs.
Jonathan Banks had inside leverage right here on Cordell Patterson. You see his eyes right away on Bridgewater. He's able to put his foot in the ground, come right back and jump that route. I know this. He's going to be doing some push-ups and some penalties, fines in that defensive back room, because anytime you have those drops.
Second and 10. Bridgewater comes near side, completes the pass to Jarius Wright, and Wright is out of bounds at the 33, so now you're in field goal range, a 17-yard completion.
Jarius Wright here right now, he's going to press, snap it back. That's what you try to do as a wide receiver. You try running, getting on the toes of that defensive back, and the minute you snap it, he's got to release back to those heels, and by that time, it's too late. Nice precision route and the footwork.
Blair Walsh connected from 46 earlier, missed one from 56. Bridgewater completes it to his tight end, Chase Ford. Kept inbounds by Alteron Werner. And a timeout taken here by Minnesota. The Vikings marching down by 3. Teddy Bridgewater, the first-round pick, engineering the 2-minute drill. And Mike Glennon already led his team down with a touchdown to give his team the lead. All he can do right now is watch. 2nd and 7. One timeout remaining for the Vikings. Bridgewater steps up, low throw. Looked like he got hit on the arm as he released that. Was looking for Asiata. William Golston was the one who kind of hit his arm.
They only rush 4 as a Tampa Bay defense right now in the line. You're going to see that offensive line fighting. Bridgewater stepping up, getting comfortable. But right now, on Teddy Bridgewater, that is 10 pressures.
Right now, Teddy Bridgewater cannot take a sack. It would be a 50-yard field goal from here. Blair Walsh, 15 and 19 in his career, from 50 or more.
Better hurry up.
They get it off in time. Bridgewater throws over the middle, completes the pass again to his tight end. Chase Ford moves it down inside the 20. Here in Tampa, the Vikings are going to call a timeout with 3 seconds to go. Justin Kutcher alongside David Teal and Laura Oakman. The final timeout for the Vikings as they're going to attempt a 38-yard field goal to tie this game. Teddy Bridgewater on this drive. He got helped out by pass interference, a big play to Jennings. He has been very good on this drive.
He has. He's been having composure in the pocket, using good mobility to step up, have his feet planted when he delivers the ball. But Chase Ford now, this second half of this game, has been Bridgewater's security blanket and really has done a great job of stretching field to open up things for Jennings and the rest of the receivers.
Blair Walsh made one from 46, missed from 56, this from 38. Tampa does have a timeout. They call the timeout once again to try to ice Walsh.
Timeout, Tampa Bay. This is their second charge timeout.
We mentioned Blair Walsh missed one earlier from 56 yards. Just missed that one. That was back in the first quarter.
Just a bit outside.
Ball 4. Ball 8.
So we'll see. Now, they iced him. So let's see if he comes back and is able to drill this to put it into overtime.
They tried icing him at the end of the first half. He was able to convert from 46. And now trying to send this one into overtime from 38. The kick is up, and we are going to overtime. In a game that saw just 3 points in the first half. It's been an offensive explosion here in the fourth quarter.
Snap, the hold, and the kick to put it into OT.
Give a lot of credit to Teddy Bridgewater again. You see that comfort level that he has running a 2-minute offense.
And that's something that Norv Turner talked about as a rookie, his composure as a football player, the ability for him to bounce back after adversity and make a play the next play. But I think the biggest thing that we've all seen in this game, his ability to sit in a pocket with pressure in his face after everything that he's faced in these first 6 weeks and still be able to deliver the ball effectively and show fearlessness. That's what you want to see out of a rookie quarterback.
The numbers, not spectacular, but he has done the job when they needed him to. The Bucs behind Mike Glennon, 3 straight scoring drives, and here's a coin toss for overtime.
Captain, in the overtime period, we do timing just like the fourth quarter. We will play a maximum of one 15-minute quarter. If the team that possesses the ball first scores a touchdown, the ball game is over. Otherwise, both teams have an opportunity to possess the ball. Each team is allowed 2 more timeouts. Minnesota, you get to call the coin. What's your call? Tails. Called tails? It is heads. Tampa would like the ball. You'd like to kick that way. Tampa has chosen to receive to start the overtime. Good luck.
Well, you heard it. Tampa will receive to start overtime. 13-13. The fourth quarter's been exciting here in Tampa. Let's go over the overtime rules here in the NFL. One 15-minute quarter, 2 timeouts per team, all replays from the booth. And both teams get a possession unless the team receiving first scores a touchdown. That is Tampa. And Holiday is going to return it from about 7 yards deep in the end zone. A flag is thrown. Holiday gets tackled at the 17-yard line. I think Holiday actually surprised his teammates by returning that one.
That's one that you call an attaboy. When that wedge is inside and you're supposed to take it inside, when you bounce it out there by yourself, that's when those calls and those holds come, because your receiving team does not think, nor should you take that ball outside.
The officials getting together. The Bucs, the first 3 quarters.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 on each team. Holding, return team, number 30, horse collar, personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense. By rule, the ball is placed at the spot of the final foul, first down.
All right, so now, how about the Bucs? Scoreless in the first 3 quarters, 13 points in the fourth, 3 straight possessions with 2 field goals and a touchdown. Bridgewater engineered that great drive to tie this game up. And now it's Mike Glennon. Glennon on his final drive went 5 of 6, 59 yards and a touchdown to Safarian Jenkins. Starts this one off to Safarian Jenkins, who loses the football. Recovered, back the other way to the end zone. Touchdown bar, the Vikings win it!
I see Safarian Jenkins go out right there on that out route, catches it, and look at Barr. Does the old lawnmower, grabs in, gets that hand out of there and starts it, rips it out. What a play by a young rookie linebacker. This is why you drafted him number 9 overall. Everybody that we've talked to on the Minnesota defense has said they have never seen a player come in as prepared and ready to play as a rookie.
The previous play is under review.
The forced fumble, the fumble recovery, all by Anthony Barr. We talk about one rookie in Bridgewater. Now the other rookie, who is the 9th overall pick out of UCLA. Austin Safarian Jenkins fumbled. They're reviewing this right now.
See Barr 55. Now watch. You're going to see him just like starting a lawnmower. Grab and rip. Pull it out just like you're starting the lawnmower. That's something that has always been taught to these linebackers. When you're going in there, don't just wrap up and make the tackle. If you can get your offhand in there, pry it out.
Mike Zimmer, he said he's the best defensive player on the team.
Best defensive player on the team as a rookie. And when he was at 9, when Minnesota was getting ready to pick, you know there was 4 or 5 other teams salivating, hoping that they passed on him, that he'd get later in the draft, because he is that type of impact player.
It was heartbreak last week for the Vikings, losing with 1 second left. The touchdown pass from Kyle Orton to Sammy Watkins. And here, it's the rookie Anthony Barr. Strips it out, picks it up, returns it. Still waiting for the official word.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touchdown. We will perform the extra point.
Everyone comes out for the handshakes. That's just a formality for the extra point. But look at this. A huge win in overtime. Minnesota on the forced fumble. The fumble recovery for the touchdown by Anthony Barr. 19-13. The Vikings win it in overtime over the Buccaneers. Back for more after.